All right. It is time for another Grimdark Future 3000 point battle report. This is a battle report, a real life battle report. Got a chance to play. Just go through it 3000 points, 5 objectives. This is keep this in mind, this is the second game for my opponent who's ever played. So we played a game right before this where it was like 1,000 points that we just taught him the game. So he's a 40K player who was a little disillusioned by the game, so heard about one-page rules. So before this game, we'd played about 1,000 point game where it went pretty quick, and he picked up the rules really fast. So I want you to keep that in mind. That when we're going through this game, this is just his. This is his second game. So for the army lists, it's my Knight Brothers against his Custodian Brothers. So two very similar armies. For my Knight Brothers, this is just running a hero who's got a Caster 3. I will tell you, in this game, I completely forgot about Caster 3. I was like trying to help him out a little bit and discuss some rules. So anytime I ever play these games, plus I'm trying to like take pictures to the battle report, sometimes I do forget some things. So in this particular game, I've just forgot about Caster 3. So just keep that in mind. But he's rocking some dual energy claws. For the Knightmaster brother, he's got the advanced tactics with just the power fist. I've got a 10-man unit of Battle Brothers with 2 side cannons. I've got 2 3-man units of Purgations with side cannons across the board. And then kind of the bulk of my army is 2 combined units of 6 Night Destroyers. They've got the Destroyer, so they've got regen on them. I've got 2 side cannons. They're all energy swords, and I do have them with the Paladin upgrade as well. So for him, he's running a combined unit of 6 Custodian Brothers. He's got them, so he's got combat shields all around, which is really great just for Custodians. So he's got the Custodians with the combat shields. These guys have the needle points, so they have poison, and he's got some heavy spears. So really, it's really 2 elite armies, but he's also got those AP4 spears across the board. He's got another unit of a 3-man Custodians that he's got with the needle point. So this is poison again and regen again with the spears. He's got a sniper assassin. So he's running the sniper assassin, which is a really interesting pick, but it's what he wanted to run. I think that's great. And he's got a 3-man unit of Sagittarius Brothers. So these are the ones with like the bolt rifles and the disintegrator mods. So a little different, but still, all of these guys are, they have the heavy shield. He's got one of the smaller Custodian Brothers have the regen. And then he's just got a big anti-grav tank here with, I guess, sort of a kind of a long-range deadly weapon, and then a kind of a long-range bolt weapon as well. So super tough army, super elite army on both sides, although I think his is much more elite. So let's just get into the setup here. So it's 5 objectives here. One of the things that in this game I decided that I have a lot of firepower in my Knight Brothers destroyers, so I just went ahead and chose to not to not ambush them. It's one of those things that I always prefer if ambush were an optional upgrade for destroyers, because I think especially with stormbolters, there's a lot of good reason to just never want to ambush them. So I actually didn't ambush either squad. I have my leader. He's the guy with in the back of the destroyers on the left. He's in one squad. He's the caster, and then towards the right is my champion. He's the Crow model, and he's with the other 6-man unit destroyers with the advanced tactics. Right beside them is those Purgations in the center, and then I've got my 10-man Knight Brothers sort of in those stone ruins. You can see right above him, he has one of his Custodians above, and then right next to that heavy tank, he's got his big 6-man squad of Custodians in the center. And then from the far left, I've got just my Purgations to try to grab that objective, and he's got his other 3-man unit of Custodians. And you'll see up in the building, you'll see him later. I think he's hidden. He has his sniper assassin on that skull building. That's where his sniper assassin is. So this is just a picture of the board. Yeah, there you can see that skull assassin just in a nice perk. And you can see here we've got one objective towards the bottom. A lot of objectives are sort of towards the center. as well. And so, yeah, it's really interesting, really cool game with just two elite armies just running up against each other here. That's just a picture from his side. So this is on his left where he's got that 3-man that are going to try to be running up to that far end objective, and then he's got his 6-man that are really gonna try and claim that center objective for him. Over on his right, these are two more objectives that he's going to sort of contest with that tank, and then just on the far right as well, that's the other objective. So yeah, nice setup. No ambushes as well. I think both of us just decided to not ambush things. So just some pictures as well. As I said, always good to play in person. I've played some games, but I haven't recorded some. This is the first of my in-person battles. It's been a while. So yeah, it's just some pictures of his models. I love his paint. I love his models. I always like the Custodian models. They look really awesome. That's just getting a little closer look at some of the models. Yeah. All right, turn one. The Custodians, they do get to go first. So yeah, let's just go into it. So not shown here, but yeah, these guys, they just basically sort of stay put behind cover. They shoot at the destroyers. With their, I think that's their needlers. I think this is the short range squad. Anyway, they do 1 wound on that 6-man destroyer squad. So at this point, the destroyer squad on the sort of the right, they have my captain with advanced tactics. So they move up, but they also advance tactics up the destroyer squad beside them. So they move up and then they shoot their storm bolters. Their side cannons aren't in range. Do 2 wounds into the 3-man squad of custodians. So at this point, the tank sort of shifts over to the left, and then here it splits fire. It puts its deadly weapons into the destroyers, and then it's sort of its long-range gun into those Knight Brothers. So actually rolled great here, even though he's putting 2 deadly AP3 deadly hits into him. He actually only ended up doing 1 wound. Again, I have the armor save, I've got the regen save, and I have the Aegis. So I actually managed to only just take 1 wound from that deadly 3 weapon. And then, yeah, he doesn't roll great, or I think I roll good. Remember, these guys also have armor and regen and Aegis. Actually, I'm taking 1 wound from the brother as well, from the tank. So a little bit of ineffective, but I also had some good rolls shooting from that tank. So this is just my Knight Brothers. They move up a little bit, and they shoot at that 6-man squad of destroyers. But I mean, that 6-man squad of custodians, I apologize. But no wounds. It's like, again, these guys are actually, these custodians are super tough, just with, armor 2, with heavy shield, and they're in cover. So, yeah, I didn't do any wounds. So this is his assassin. He actually shoots at my champion, the advanced tactics guy. So, yeah, he actually hits with both, but I save everything. So I make 1/6 on the armor save, and then I save 1 with regen. And then I just showed the picture. I rolled 2 6s for my Aegis save, and this guy doesn't take 1 wound from the assassin. So definitely some luck on my side in this first turn here. The destroyers on the far left, they just move up and they split their fire. So they put their side cannons into that 3-man squad, and their bolters, their storm rifles into that tank. They do 1 wound each. I mean, I probably should have just shot everything into the custodians, but that's it is what it is. But yeah, so each one take 1 wound. That is good enough to kill one of those custodians with just 1 wound left. So this is his big 6-man unit of custodians with the needlers. So they shoot at the Knight Brothers. Remember, those guys ignore the poison. They ignore the regen. So they actually kill 4 of these Knight Brothers. And then, but they pass their morale. So yeah, those guys are pretty nasty. Just with, like I said, all those poison shots going in. My purgations in the center, they move up behind that forest, and they shoot their 3 side cannons into that destroyer squad. I do 3 wounds and kill 3 of them. So, but you can see these guys, 3 side cannons going to the squad only. I don't think he rolled great, but yeah, this is a pretty tough squad. So this is the other 3-man squad. They move up and they shoot at the Knight Brothers. They kill 1 more, but pass morale. So that's just them down to 4. So this is the purgations on the far right. They move up and they shoot that center squad again, doing 3 wounds and killing another one. So these guys are down to 4. So that's just the recap of the first turn. One of the things that you're going to note here that I didn't actually grab that bottom left objective. I'm trying to sort of be a little more aggressive, and I'll sort of grab it afterwards. So he's grabbed that top left, but I actually didn't grab that bottom left. and then the center isn't grabbed yet. And then, so yeah, that center green isn't grabbed yet. I wasn't able to get any range. He did grab this objective on his end, and then, yeah, the objective on the bottom isn't grabbed either. So that's just some pictures as well of the first turn. We're all sort of just moving up and just, taking pot shots at each other. Both of us are pretty elite armies. Both of us have some good hand-to-hand in our armies, and both of us also have some good shooting. So we're sort of trading blows already. All right, turn 2, and the Custodians also get to go first again, just being an elite army. So again, this is his sniper assassin. He shoots into my champion and kills him this time, and rightly so. I mean, it's 2 AP4 deadly hits, so he did kill the champion this time. My Purgations just basically stand still, and they shoot at that. Remember, now they're in the relentless range. So they shoot at those Custodians up top, that 4-man. They only do 2 wounds, so I think he's just rolling a little better. Remember, that's a 3. Even though it's AP2 Blast, those guys have a 2-up armor save with heavy shield. So roll some good saves. His 2-man Custodians, they shoot those destroyers. Remember, they're in range for their AP4 weapons now. So I think they actually kill one of those destroyers. That's just another picture of that destroyer dying. And then these Purgations, again, they stand still and they shoot into that that squad of... and here they managed to kill one more. So now they're below half and they pass them around. But I've pumped a lot of shots into that 6-man squad and just now get them to half. So this is the tank. The tank splits the fire. The deadly weapon goes into the destroyers, and then the long-range kind of 12-shot weapon goes into the Purgations. He kills the Purgations. That's the 3-man squad, and then he puts 2 wounds into the destroyers. So at this point, these are the destroyers. They just they move up and they shoot at the Custodians. They do 2 wounds. But they also pass their morale. Everyone's sort of quality 3 and fearless. So these Custodians, they're on my far right. They actually just rush and they grab that objective on the very bottom. These Knight Brothers, the 4-man, they actually move within range and grab that center, and then they shoot at those. So they shoot at those guys. They only do 1 wound, but actually he fails his morale check. So even with quality 3 and fearless, he actually is pinned. So that's pretty good for me. He always goes ahead and just spends an activation to unpin them. So that's just sort of some recap here. So again, this is the 6-man squad that I actually just moved them up towards the center just to try to get some more shots into those Custodians. So I do manage to shoot off those Custodians with the other 6-man squad. Took a lot of shots, but it's good. Again, to kill those Custodians, one thing I did have to do is I didn't grab that bottom left objective. So I'm going to try and grab that next turn. And that's just a picture of the battlefield. I grabbed that center. He still has his 2. Actually, he has 3 now. No, he has 3, and then I have 1 because he's got that one. He's got this objective, and he's got his top left objective here. So... that's just some pictures of the battlefield as well. And you can see here... Oh, I actually contest that top left. That's right, I forgot about that. All right, turn 3, and the Custodian Brothers get to go first. So, the first thing, he just moves his tank back. I don't think he wants, getting charged. He's sort of giving that up for now, and he just shoots into those destroyers. Does 3 wounds into them, but they're fine. My Purgations just stand still, and they shoot at that 3-man squad of Custodians. Kill one of them, but they do pass their morale. So this is just his assassin. He jumps off the building and starts moving towards the center. Shoots, so he snipes both of the side cannons in the squad. So they're down to 2 models, but they do pass morale. This is the 5-man who is in the top left. Is in the left side of the board for me. I actually move onto the objective, and you can see the dice where his tank is. So I grab this objective. I shoot and do 3 wounds into the tanks, but the tank's like 18 wounds, so he's doing good. This is this 3-man this 6-man unit that's down to 2 models. They just rush towards that center objective here. And then my last 2 Knight Brothers, they actually just move out of the force so they can't get charged. They shoot at those Custodian Brothers, but no wounds. And then these Custodian Brothers just charge around the building. Remember, there's no line of sight needed for charges and OPR. Just charged and then killed those Purgations. And yeah, that's the end of turn 3. I've managed to grab that top objective. I've still got the center objective, and he's got 2 objectives. So this is just showing I've got those 2, and this bottom left one I don't have yet. And then he's got that top one, and he's of course got the one on the bottom as well. So that's just some pictures as well of the board. Yeah, so let's just go on there. So last turn, it is turn 4. I do get to go first this time, though. So the first thing I do is I don't want him doing anything cheeky to contest this objective with the tank. So I actually just move up, and I basically block that tank from trying to grab the objective. And then actually I have some Stormbolters, so I'm actually able to shoot at these Custodians, sort of not across the board, but 24 inches got me to this center squat. I do 1 wound in them, but they do pass their morale. So these guys just move up and they shoot those 2 brothers and they kill them. And they're actually able to grab this objective here. So, yeah, that's just showing up. So at this point, and this is where I basically lost the game because I had forgotten to grab that objective in previous turns. So now I just have to move up and grab this objective or contest it for the tie. So at this point, I shoot into the Knight Brothers. I don't kill them. And then we sort of looked into it, and all he ended up having to do was just rush that assassin, because I forgot that he had Strider and Fast. So I forgot about that even the Sniper Assassin has Strider and Fast. So he was able to just rush that assassin and contest this objective here. And yeah, and with that, it's actually the game, because it would have been a tie if I would have grabbed that bottom objective on like turn 1. It would have been a tie, but it's actually he wins because I get 1 objective. The center is contested, so I have that one. I don't have the bottom one, and then we contest the center, and then he's got that one in the top on his side, and he's got the one on the far, the orange one on the bottom. So that's just showing a picture of the assassin just sort of contesting the objective. And yeah, it is a 2-1 victory to the Custodian Brothers. I mean, what a great game, you know. And one of the things I would say is that like this was really 2 equally matched armies. I always say like Knight Brothers and Custodian Brothers are sort of bottom tier armies because they're sort of so hybrid taxed heavy. They're very elite. But really, when you put the 2 armies against each other, they're very balanced against each other. So I actually love that my opponent won his first full game of OPR. And I think that's sort of a testament to OPR that, you know, someone with some wargaming experience can sort of learn the game and then really play the game at a pretty high level because, you know, there's not all this gotcha stuff going on here. So yeah, I just think some learning points, you know, it's really great when you can play. I am doing a lot of work to talk about trying to balance the armies as a whole. But when you can sort of play armies in sort of similar tiers, like I think Custodians are sort of a C tier. Knight Brothers are sort of a D tier army. It's really great because they both sort of suffer from the hybrid and pistol taxes. So it's like neither of them have a disadvantage. Yeah, and again, I just think it's such a great game because it really focuses on tactics. It's like I didn't win or lose because there was no gotcha moments, you know? So that's great. And, you know, I made a mistake. One small mistake can cost you the game. And, you know, I should have grabbed that objective earlier. And then I sort of didn't. So, you know, it cost me a tie. So I think it's great. And, you know, I love the fact that this guy was really tired of 40K. And then we played 2 games. We played a learning game and we played this one. And he wanted to play a 3rd game. And I think it's really awesome that, like, you know, this guy left 40K and is coming into OPR and he's excited to play. So I think that's great. That's awesome. So thanks everyone. Always enjoy feedback. Like, subscribe, and comment. I'm trying to grow the channel. And if you're in Austin, join the Austin Alternative Gaming Freaks. Thank you so much.